Hey everyone, today we're going to take a brief look at some different approaches on how to play the bass drum. As with all techniques, the most important thing is that you're not doing anything that feels unnatural or causes pain after an extended amount of time. Being physically relaxed is an essential musical and physical element of playing the drums. Now, the first technique we will look at is commonly referred to as the heel down method. I almost always teach this technique to beginning players because it allows the foot more control over the beater, which is this part of the pedal, the part that actually strikes the head, before and after the stroke. Notice how I'm using this kind of hinge-like motion in my ankle so that the front part of my foot is doing the brunt of the work. But really the only downside to this technique is that because your foot's in a resting position, you might experience some delay in your footwork or timing. I prefer it personally because it allows me to easily remove the batter from the head after the actual note or attack. I'm not driving the beater into the head, causing excess noise, which is would be the improper technique. With that, you kind of get the sound of the beater bouncing on the head. You want a nice clean tone. Now let's look at the other most commonly used bass drum pedal technique, referred to as the heel up method. Okay, like I mentioned before, I don't usually teach this technique right off the bat because you're putting your weight on the front of your foot. It causes you to just put a lot of pressure automatically on that front end of your foot, and it makes it harder to control the motion of the beater, especially when it's coming back. If you're not careful, you'll do what I mentioned before and drive the beater into the head, and it won't end up sounding like you want it to. It'll end up sounding like this. Which you don't want because that's altering the tone of the bass drum. So with that in mind, you want to keep your heel suspended off the ground, placing the weight of your foot on the front end like I mentioned, and much like you're standing on your tippy toes. You can use this angled hinge motion, which is kind of like this, to get a little bit more precise timing and add a little bit of power to your technique. Developing a bass drum technique that you are comfortable with takes patience and practice. Try playing repeated strokes at a steady volume and aim for consistency in the sound that you're producing. The bass drum is one of the most essential elements of the drum set and music in general, so you want to be able to play it with confidence. Thanks for joining me for this free lesson, and be sure to check out my premium downloads for more great grooves, patterns, and licks. I'm Radley Fricker, and I'll see you next time.